What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 8 movies in the Harry Potter franchise. I've recently reviewed all of the movies, and I even did my top 10 favorite characters from the franchise, which was a really hard list to come up with, because it's hard to narrow down just 10 characters when there's so many great ones in this franchise, but I thought I'd go ahead and do my ranking for all 8 movies. And this is going to be one of the easiest rankings I've ever done, because I've known my ranking pretty much for the last 10 years. It hasn't changed at all. It never does, and probably never will. Some of the movies on here have grown on me a lot, but never to the extent that they ever move up or anything, and a lot of them never really move down either. So I'm gonna go ahead and get going. Coming in at number 8 is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I know a lot of people would actually have this one a lot higher. I know there's a lot that have it in their top 2 or 3, but it just isn't one of my favorites. They took so many liberties from the book that it just kind of ruins the movie a little bit for me. Especially when I saw it for the first time after reading the book for the first time. I was really disappointed in it and everything, but as time has gone on, it's really grown on me, and I do think it is entertaining. It has some really fun moments, especially the first task when he's fighting the dragon, and then the Yule Ball is a really fun scene, and that ending when he arrives in the graveyard when they bring Voldemort back is one of the best scenes in the entire franchise. I absolutely love it, and all the stuff that I do have problems with in this movie, that scene to me was one of the best scenes that they got right in that movie, and everything. That the little showdown he has with Voldemort for the first time is just really great to watch and everything, and it is a really good movie and everything, but it's just not a great movie. It's not as great as some of the other movies in this franchise and everything. It's the bottom of the barrel for me, but it's also really watchable, and unlike a lot of franchises where the worst one is really hard to get through, this one isn't really that hard to get through. It just isn't one of my most favorites. So it's number 8, and number 7 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I really like this one too. It has a lot of the same problems I had with Goblet of Fire, but some reason this movie works better than Goblet of Fire did. Maybe it's because of the performances in here, because you get Imelda Stanton as Dolores Umbridge, who's probably the most hated character in the entire Harry Potter franchise, even over Voldemort himself. She's just very unlikable character, but Imelda Stanton's performance really makes the entire movie as good as it is. I mean, that's one thing that everybody can agree on, that even though it's not the best adaptation, it's worth watching for her performance. And it has some really good moments in here too, like the stuff with Dumbledore's army is a lot of fun and everything, and that the relationship between Harry and Sirius is pretty good, although it's a lot better written in the books and stuff. And I've already kind of talked about how I feel about Sirius in the movies, but I did like getting to see him at least some more in this movie. He should have had a lot more screen time, but it is what it is. And they did take a lot of liberties once again with this one, but for some reason it worked better and everything. Taking the longest book and making it into the shortest movie, I'm surprised that it worked as good as it did at all, really, to be honest. So it's definitely not one of my most favorites, but I do enjoy this one a whole lot more than Goblet of Fire, and I think it is a decent entry in the franchise. So it's number 7, and number 6 is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is the one in the franchise that I've always felt it's kind of like the black sheep of the franchise. People just really don't like this one, and I know a lot of people have it as their least favorite, and I never understood why. It is a slower paced movie, and a lot of stuff there's not a lot that really happens and everything, but it is a really entertaining movie to me. I love just that this movie is full of just those little moments that the characters spending time together and stuff. It's kind of like the calm before the storm and everything, kind of like with how Avengers Endgame did throughout most of the movie before we got that big final battle at the end and everything. There wasn't a lot of action in it either until towards the end of it, but this movie is really entertaining. It has some of my favorite moments in here, like when Ron gets the love potion and then he gets poisoned. That's one of my favorite scenes. And the scene when Harry drinks the liquid luck to try to get Slughorn to tell him about his memory and stuff, and they go to visit Hagrid and stuff, and Harry's acting like he's drunk the entire time, and then Slughorn and Hagrid get drunk and stuff. It's just really, really great moment in the movie, and Dumbledore's death is very well done and very emotional. For some reason this time when I watched it, it hit me more than it normally does, but it's a really good emotional scene, and there's a lot of really great moments in this movie, and I absolutely love Half-Blood Prince. I think it's very underrated, and just because it's number 6 doesn't mean I dislike it. It's just because all these other movies are so good. Like, pretty much this one up are all the ones that I love the most out of this franchise, and are the reason why I'm such a big fan of Harry Potter. So, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is number 6, and number 5 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. This is the other one, like with Half-Blood Prince, that I feel is very underrated. It doesn't have a lot of action either, because it's kind of setting up that big finale, but it does have some good action scenes, like when they're the Flight of the Seven Potters, when they're trying to go to the Burrow from Privet Drive and stuff, and they're all disguised as Harry. That's a really fun scene, really intense. Everything. I remember seeing it for the first time in the theater, and I was just felt intense throughout the whole thing. And there's a lot of other moments when they're being chased by Snatchers and stuff that's really intense. And like there's a moment when Hermione is was standing in the woods, and the Snatcher walks right by her and stuff, but it doesn't see her because of the charm that she put on the area that they were in and everything. It barely didn't see her. It could smell her perfume, but didn't see her. I thought that was a really great scene, and there's a lot of really good ones in here and everything. And they have a cool little fight scene at Malfoy Manor. It's not a lot, but a fighting, but it's still pretty cool and everything. And then Dobby's sacrifice and stuff, trying to save all of them, is always heartbreaking and stuff. And this is a really, really great movie. Easily one of the best and most underrated movies in the franchise, and it's one of the best looking ones too. It's got some absolutely gorgeous cinematography and a lot of emotional moments and stuff. The scene when they go to Godric's Hollow is just a really great scene. And that scene when Hermione reads the Deathly Hallows story, or the Tale of the Three Brothers, is just, it's perfect. Like, I absolutely love this movie. I never have understood the hate for it. Yes, it's a slower paced movie, but it never is boring to me. It's fun just watching these characters having to deal with the stuff that they're having to deal with and everything. It's really, really just a great movie. So, Deathly Hallows Part 1 is number 5, and number 4 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, the big finale of the franchise. It went out on a perfect high. Not very many franchises do that, where their ending is almost as good as their beginning and everything. Like, this is just such a great movie. I absolutely love it. It's intense throughout the whole thing. The big battle scene that we see where all these Death Eaters and people are fighting at Hogwarts, and seeing Hogwarts getting destroyed is both emotional and awesome to see the battles and stuff. And there's a particular scene where like there's little Easter eggs from different movies in the franchise that is really awesome. There's actually a couple of them. There's a lot of Easter eggs throughout the movie, but the scene when they're in the room of requirement, you can see all kinds of different things from the previous movies in it. And then scene during the battle where they have like little references to other movies, which I thought was awesome. And getting to see Snape's backstory is one of the highlights of the franchise, possibly my favorite scene in the entire franchise, really, to be honest with you. And it's really great, and it's very, very satisfying ending and everything. The only thing I didn't really care for is the way Voldemort died. I didn't like that he turned to ash and stuff like Thanos just snapped him away or something, which maybe if once Disney buys Warner Brothers, they'll retcon it, and when the snap happened, that means Voldemort came back and we get a whole new Harry Potter franchise. Who knows? Yeah, I absolutely love Deathly Hallows Part 2. It's a really great movie, and like I said, it's one of the most satisfying endings to a movie franchise. And not very many, can't think of hardly any that have had as satisfying of an ending as this one did, and everything. I mean, Shrek had a great ending, and Toy Story did too, but of course, Shrek might be getting more movies, and eventually, maybe, and nobody knows on Toy Story. They say they're done for now, but that doesn't mean they are. They said that with Toy Story 3, so for right now, I can say Harry Potter probably has the greatest ending for a movie franchise. Definitely better than what Rise of Skywalker did for the Star Wars movies. But yeah, so Deathly Hallows Part 2 is number 4, and number 3 is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. When this movie came out, I wasn't even allowed to watch Harry Potter, and I ended up getting to watch it because I had burnt my arm. I think I still have scars on it. You can't really see it very good though, but because of that, I didn't get to go with my family to this amusement park called Frontier City that we have here in Oklahoma City, and I ended up hanging out with my friend, and she got it on DVD that night, and I wasn't about to just sit in the other room while they watched Harry Potter, because it's like the entire point of me going over there was to hang out with them. So I ended up watching it and instantly fell in love with it, and finally got the okay from everybody in my family, and I've been a big Harry Potter fan ever since then and everything. I wish that I could have been a fan from day one like a lot of fans are, but better late than never, I guess. But ever since then, Harry Potter has been one of my favorite franchises, and this was such an excellent way to start the franchise. The world building is absolutely perfect in here and everything, and I love how, like, as the audience sees this world is introduced and sees this world for the first time, Harry is introduced to it and seeing it for the first time as well, and it's just very well written. A lot of really fun moments in here, especially the scene when they go to try to find their Sorcerer's Stone, and they have to face all these different little enchantments and stuff and play the wizard's chess and everything. Those are pretty fun scenes, and it like shows the great capabilities of each character, which I thought was awesome. Each of them got their little moment to shine. Harry having to do the broom, Hermione with the devil snare thing, and Ron with the wizard's chest. That was just a really great scene, and it's really, really great first entry into one of my favorite franchises of all time. So even though it's not number 1, I still absolutely love Sorcerer's Stone and hold it really high and everything. So it's number 3, and number 2 is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I absolutely love this movie. It is easily one of my favorites in the franchise. Every time I watch it, I like it a little bit more, and everything. And it's been one of my favorites ever since it first came out. It's so much fun, and it is pretty long and everything. It's almost 3 hours, but to me, it feels worth it, because it is one of the best adapted in the franchise. This one and the first one are really the two that are the best adapted out of all the movies and everything. I just absolutely love Chamber of Secrets, and this is the one where we get introduced to Dobby, who should have had a much bigger part in the movie series, and Lucius Malfoy, who was one of those villains that I love to hate. Absolutely can't stand the character, but he's so much fun to watch because Jason Isaac is so great in the role. And I really love this movie. I think it's really great entry. You get some really good moments and stuff, especially that ending with Hagrid getting all the applause and stuff, because Hagrid just doesn't get the credit he deserves and everything. This is the movie where he gets his little moment to shine and everything gets the respect he deserves after everything that he went through in this movie. And I love the mystery aspect of it. Like there's this looming sense of dread throughout the whole movie, and there's this mystery of like why is the Chamber of Secrets being opened again, and who's doing it and all that. So there's a lot of things about this that I absolutely love, and I think this is a really great movie and everything. So Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is number 2, and my number 1 favorite movie in the Harry Potter franchise is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is easily my favorite movie in the entire Harry Potter franchise. It came out when I was 12, and it just was like perfect timing, I guess, because it was like the height of the franchise. And I don't feel like any of the movies after this one quite reached that level of greatness, although we did come really close with Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2 and Half-Blood Prince. But this movie is so much fun. There are so many great moments in here, and Sirius this is the introduction to him, and as I've said before, he's one of my favorite characters, and it was a great way to introduce a character that we should have gotten a lot more of. Lupin being the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is great. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the entire movie, and everything, and the whole friendship he develops with Harry is great. And I love like all the little twists and turns. When I saw this movie for the first time, I hadn't finished reading the book, so when I had found out about Peter Pettigrew being Scabbers all this time and stuff, it just totally blew my mind and everything. I was like only a few chapters into this book by the time I saw the movie and everything, and it surprisingly, it didn't ruin the book for me, because there are some things that are left out of the book that should have been in the movie. Like I know it would have been just kind of a scene of dialogue and stuff, or maybe little flashbacks, but they should have talked about the Marauders more and stuff, and like gone into that history a little bit more in this one, but they didn't really go into it very well. I wish they would have done that better, but aside from that there's not really much else about this movie that I don't really like. I think it's really entertaining and fun from start to finish. That time traveling stuff at the end of it also is a lot of fun, and there's something special about it. Alfonso Cuarón did the directing for this movie, and he has a special style that I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but the few that I have seen, he has a really distinct style, and his style worked perfectly for this movie, and I absolutely love this one. So Prisoner of Azkaban is easily my favorite movie in the Harry Potter franchise. But let me know in the comments what your favorite Harry Potter movies are. If you want, tell me your full ranking. If you don't want to do your full ranking, tell me your favorite and least favorite. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.